Hey guys, it's Slots, and welcome back to Ask Slots, the series in which you guys submit me questions or topics using the Google form link down below, and I talk about them on the channel. Today we actually have two questions because they all revolve around the same topic. Actually, technically three, but two of them are the same question, so I'm grouping them into one. But they all revolve around YouTube, and more specifically, my YouTube channel, and I'm also just going to be giving some YouTube advice for anyone that might be interested. So the first two questions that are asking the same thing are, what made you start YouTube? What was your inspiration? And hey Slots, I love the content and was thinking of doing similar content myself. The question is, what made you get started? Thanks. So I've been doing YouTube for over 10 years at this point. I started posting Club Penguin videos, and then I went to Minecraft, then Call of Duty, then like a variety of games. I just kind of posted whatever games I was playing. And then I did some vlogs, and then I did a podcast, and now I'm here. So I don't know if anyone knows about the Club Penguin like YouTube scene, but I wanted to be one of those famous Club Penguin YouTubers that when you'd go into a server on Club Penguin, everyone would recognize you and everyone would want you to add you as a friend and stuff like that. So I was posting Club Penguin videos for that intention, and I didn't really get that very far in it, so I quickly moved to Minecraft. And my Minecraft inspirations were like Team Crafted, if everyone knows that. Like Scott is Minecraft, Bayesian Canadian, ASF Jerome, that group was kind of my inspiration. But with that YouTube channel where I started on the Minecraft stuff, I turned it into just kind of a general gaming channel. And, that didn't really have any specific thing I would do. I would just kind of like post whatever video game I was playing and just talk about it. And I look back at those videos super fondly because I feel like those videos were just me having fun playing video games, and especially the ones with my friends because it's just like captures like a time, I guess. I don't know. You guys probably know what I mean. Like I look back upon them and like I remember them fondly, and it's so cool to see like I could kind of relive it. Same thing with the vlogs. I mean, me and a couple of my other friends, that I'm still friends with to this day, we actually had our own YouTube channels and we would make vlogs. And, we pretty much have our middle school years and some of our high school years documented on, YouTube videos, which is super cool to look back upon. And it's crazy to see how much all of us have grown since then. And I don't know, again, it's super cool to just kind of relive that time of our lives. And then me and my friend started a podcast, and that was kind of a similar thing, except that had more of a structure to it where we were kind of like, okay, what are we going to be talking about? What are we going to be doing? It wasn't just us, hanging out talking about nonsense. But I think you all want to know about this channel specifically, and the first channel that I saw that really inspired me was Nico, and he did Minecraft videos very similar to this, where he would just talk about whatever was on his mind, personal topics, stuff like that. And once I started watching more and more of his content, I think I found him in like December of 2023. My YouTube algorithm was recommending me all these other channels, and I think the next ones I found were Why Learn, Loaded Buggy, and Once Faded. And those were kind of the four YouTube channels I was watching to kind of get my, fix of this style of content. And while I was watching all this content, I was having the idea in my head where it's like, this is kind of something I would want to talk about. But I kept pushing it off for a while, kind of, I think, out of fear of judgment. And it's not like my friends and family would look at it like negatively because, they knew all about my other YouTube channels. So they knew all about that stuff. I think my goal with this channel was to kind of treat it like a journal or a diary. And what I mean by that is, I feel like people always talk about journaling, right? And I was never really someone that got super into that. I'm not a big, writer, but I could talk. I am good at yapping. Which I think the best way for my mind to do it is to kind of treat it like I'm not talking to anyone specifically. Because I feel like if I sent the YouTube channel or my YouTube videos to all my friends and family, I feel like I would be talking to them rather than like kind of talking to myself. And obviously, I know this is public, right? I know this is going on the internet. But something about like not knowing who specifically is going to watch this is kind of like just feels like I'm talking to no one. But that's how I see this YouTube channel. I see it as like my journal or like kind of like my therapy, I guess. So yeah, that's how this channel got started, and it's been an amazing journey so far. I mean, it's only been 6 months, but the amount of, growth, the amount of people I've talked to, the amount, of comments I get, which are my favorite part, are absolutely incredible, and I can't thank you guys enough for all the love and support that you've shown. So I thought I'd give some advice because you say you're thinking of doing similar content yourself. And I think my number one piece of advice is to actually talk about things that you're passionate about, you care about, or, that you're feeling, or things that are actually on your mind, and not just chase whatever's getting the most views. I feel like a big topic that gets a lot of views in this community is about money and, stocks and stuff like that, which if you're knowledgeable about it and you're passionate about it, that's great because you get both, right? You get the views and you get to talk about something that you're super passionate about. But for me, I have absolutely zero knowledge on that kind of stuff. And I feel like if I was making that style of content, it would just come off as inauthentic. I didn't really know what I was talking about. And I don't think I'd be truly like happy making the content. So that's the number one thing is even if you don't think your like passion or your niche or whatever is super popular, it's definitely better to grow an audience that you relate to and you're passionate about the same things than something that you're just doing just to get views. My second piece of advice would be consistency. I think consistency not only makes your videos better, but it also helps your YouTube channel because your audience knows when to expect a new video. You don't have to post every single day. You don't have to post every other day. I think as long as you have a consistent schedule and you're maintaining that, I think that's good. And obviously, what works for you works for you. My last piece of advice, which is part two kind of the first piece of advice, but that is to just honestly be yourself. Talk about things you want to talk about, create the videos that you want to make, because if you want to make a certain kind of video, there's definitely an audience for it and that audience will find it. I feel like once you start hyper fixating on the amount of views you're getting, the likes and stuff like that, I feel like that's when it doesn't become like a fun thing to do. It kind of becomes like a job. And I don't ever want to feel like this is a job for me. I don't want to feel very stressed while doing it because at the end of the day, this is a hobby, right? This is something that I started because I wanted to do it. And if it gets to the point where I hate doing it, I'm just going to stop. So yeah, that's my inspiration and some advice that I'd give for YouTube. And now we have the last question of this video, which will be a short one, I promise, because I know that last one took a bit of time. And it's a simple one, and it's just, what does the name Slats mean? Also, your videos are awesome, so don't stop making them. Thank you so much for this comment, and thank you for the nice words. It's funny that I ended the last question by talking about if I ever stop liking doing this, I will stop making YouTube videos, and this question mentions this. So don't worry, I'm still liking making these, so I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. So where does the name Slats come from? So the name Slats comes from my Club Penguin name when I created my account back in like 2009. And it's actually crazy how I remember this so specifically because I remember my mom helped me create my Club Penguin account and we were trying to come up with a name. And I remember her saying, "What about Slats?" And where that comes from is it's like a nickname of my last name. And I'm not going to give away my last name on this channel, but it's basically just a nickname of that. And that's where it started. I think that was the first time I ever heard that. But even I remember when I went to school, sometimes my teachers would call me Slats. And it's not like I would tell them to call me that. Like they would just kind of say it. And then from that, some of my friends would start calling me it. And then it just eventually became kind of my name. I mean, most of my friends now call me Slats. That's kind of been my name. They don't call me by my first name. And it's just something that stuck with me throughout all these years. But the start of it is from my mom when I created my Club Penguin name. But it's just become what people call me now, even in my real life. So yeah, that's where it comes from. And that is also going to do it for today's video. So I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, please consider subscribing. If you guys have any questions or topics you would like to ask, feel free to leave them in the Google form down below. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.